All right. And we are live again. It has been a minute since we've run a live session. We're going at this from the Family Alpha channel. We're going at this onto the Oak and Rock Fatherhood channel. We're going at it to our Twitter accounts. We're also going to Facebook. So we are boosting this thing as far as we can send the message because we are back in video form. For a while, it's pre-recorded, dropping the TikToks, growing our brands. We've been pushing a lot of Twitter spaces. But one of the things we're looking to do as we wrap this year up is to get back to the visual. Get back to where we can see you can see us, we can get it rolling. If you have any comments or questions as we go throughout this video, drop them in the chat. We'll address them with all of that. Anthony, good to see you again, man. Long time no talk.
Yes,
I think about 14 minutes ago, we were recording content, and here we are again. So today, we are talking the 2022 wrap-up. It has been a year, and we're talking about goals for 2023. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation. Like I said, if you're just tuning in, check it out, subscribe. We've got a lot of content that'll be popping in the future months, weeks to come. But for right now, we're talking about the entire year and wrapping it up. So how was your 2022, man? I've seen and had front row to a lot of it, but how was it for you?
it was good, man. It was excellent. And, I think one of the main focuses that I normally have throughout life is constantly improving, constantly getting better. There's going to be ups and downs. But in 2022, I would say I was fortunate enough to share a big part of my message. And I think that's what more men need, especially men who are doing good in the world. And that's why I do this, right? That's why we do it. I became partner in Fraternity of Excellence. And man, it's been a wild ride. Honestly, man, it's just about development. It's about strength. It's about really understanding your weaknesses, where you need to grow. We started Oak and Rock. We've done Dad's Day. And all while doing this on the business end and really fine tuning myself in those areas, I still managed to be a present dad. I've still managed to be a husband, to be a father, and really take pride in that. And I watch my kids not just exist, but really thrive and kind of settle into their own elements, right, at different ages and different stages in their life. So I would say in 2022, man, it's wrapping up well. And going into the new year, 2023, nothing but high expectations, man. And that is the mindset that I've always had, right? This is continuous progression, pushing past hard things. And at the same time, taking it easy on myself, right? Not beat myself up, no negative or negative self-talk, just really focusing on what I need to do to become a better man. And that's the goal.
Now, there are a lot of content creators out there who they do second guess themselves. And they do doubt their ability when they say things like, "Oh, I just sound stupid." And you predominantly were coming from the written word. I would say this year you've been on video and audio more than any and correct me if I'm wrong, but more than ever before. And so when I came across you had the blog, you're doing a lot of writing. We did a 31 DTM together. You were on those Zooms. I really saw you though in the roundtable sessions, the video calls we'd have in FOE, as well as the fatherhood calls that you would lead. And we're like 3, almost 4 years running now. Have you, or how did you get over that initial resistance, or was there even resistance when you first started going on video and having to speak to people, as opposed to being able to think your thoughts out, edit the words, and then put them out there perfectly?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. There's self-doubt, right? And I think with anything in your life, you go on a path and you're gonna make a choice, right? Are you gonna let that little voice in your head hold you back, or are you gonna say, hey, I'm all right with sounding stupid or not knowing the best thing to say, right? That's how you get better. And it's something I talk about parenting. Like, let your kids fail. Just get in the reps, learn how to deal with situations that are difficult, and they become easier. And I would say, honestly, man, with being an FOE has definitely advanced that greatly for me. It's made me level up quicker. I will say, being at the live event that we did this year in North Carolina, and being around other strong men, but also, honestly, man, being around you and seeing you take the stage and speak your truth, that's what fuels me, right? That's what I see that, and I'm like, man, people need to hear what I say. And I see how men hang on to your words and how your message is powerful. So I think every man in their life, they need to have that element within them, whether it's in your home and how you speak to your wife and your kids, just having that desire, that passion, being alive, being able to express your thoughts, your mind, everything that you've built and worked for, and not only just speak it, but live it. So that's, you know, even though there's doubt, And even though that might be uncertainty, when you tap into those moments, man, you know you're on the right path.
It's cool, man. Like I see it happen, and it's one of those things. Like I literally like have my hands in the process. Like as we're talking, I'm like, hey, like try this, or what do you think about that? But when you go out and do it, like I've seen you on podcasts, I've seen you on a lot of other people's channels. Spreading the word of peaceful parenting, or just talking about fatherhood in general, life, business. It's the rep after rep after rep, you can hear it start to come out more and more and more. And it's as if you're giving yourself permission to just let loose. And I've always said, like when you freestyle it, that's your best self because that's the most raw form. And I'm like, the world needs this. Like, whatever I can do to help that. I remember you in your auto body shop in your office when we were first talking. And like when you started opening up, I'm like, holy shit, like this guy doesn't even realize he's got a strong fucking voice that the world needs. And maybe you did realize it and you're just finding the right fucking dude to come along and help like pull that shit out. But now that it's rolling, that's something that I've enjoyed myself watching grow through you. But there are a lot of men within FOE who've also found that voice. And the interesting thing is this is for anybody. There's no secret sauce. There's no fucking course. There's no anything to be given to you outside of you giving yourself permission to go out and win. The only thing there is you slowing things down, going out and just giving yourself the wherewithal, like just saying, hey, Zach, it's okay to talk. Or for you, just say your name, like, hey, I can just go and say this. I believe this. This matters to me. I'm just going to talk about it. And you speak from your chest and you just share the passion that you have for that thing. More men are doing that, at least in our circle. The men that we associate ourselves with, the men inside FOE, the content creators we work with, they speak clearly because they believe in what they're saying. And when you believe in what you're saying, all of a sudden people around you believe in what you're saying. So all of a sudden you have people that are coming up to you saying, oh, you inspired me, so now I can speak freely. So you have sons who are more confident, daughters who are more confident, wives who are happier. They're allowed to share their true selves. And watching that play out through you and just others, it's been awesome on a multitude of levels because the world needs it. We need more individuals and less NPCs out there.
No, 100%, man. We really do need more of it, right? We need men to understand their role as men, as fathers, as husbands. And I think it's never going to get old pushing that message, right? To be confident, to be strong, and also just to enjoy life, right? And not worry so much, not have anxiety about the future, and definitely not be depressed about the past, right? Whatever happened to you, you overcome it. If your childhood sucked, get some help, understand it, right? Understand the position you were in, become a better human being. And I say it all the time with in my home, my parenting. I'm not always focused on outcomes with my kids, right? I'm not focused on behavior. I want them to become good people, and they are. But even more so, like I want them to really acknowledge what they're doing, who they are, how they treat others, how they treat themselves. Those are the characteristics, I'm looking to build in 2023, even greater and beyond. So, and I know we've we've been through a lot in the last couple of years. There's been big changes, right? I know you've moved, I've moved, and 2022, we're wrapping it up. What has been the biggest takeaway for you? And then what are you looking to do in 23?
No, it's a good question, man. And I was hoping I was going to keep asking you the questions, not have to field them. But looking at it, man, I would say the biggest. So you're right. A lot has happened. A lot has happened like globally. We moved during the the breakout of COVID and all that was going on. We all that was happening. We started making our plans to get out of there. In 2021, that's when we actually moved. 2022, this year, has been our first full year here in North Carolina. And so we came down from Rhode Island to a house that was sight unseen in a town we didn't know. We just jumped, man. We just went and did it. And that's some crazy shit. And it really worked out for us. And, I'm very thankful for that. But looking back, I would say my biggest takeaway from it all is that so long as your home is locked in and so long as you are a authentic self with your family, you're open about the things that stress you out. You're open about the things that make you happy. You're open about where it is you're at emotionally and just where your focus is at, your vision and your mission. When you share that with your family, nothing can stop you. No matter where you go, no matter what happens, no matter what the government does, no matter what the community does, no matter what your state's doing, no matter what a politician does, a celebrity, some clothing brand, no matter what's happening in the world, it doesn't infiltrate your castle because you're there and you're talking about it. You don't hide from what's going on. You openly address it, which that might be counterintuitive. You think, if you don't talk about evil, there is no evil. But the reality is when you talk about what the problems are and you're ready for it, when they happen, you take it in stride. So let's not sit here and pretend that there's no issues along the way when you move two children and a spouse 650 miles away from all friends and family to a place where you don't know anybody and there's no one to fall back on. Jackie and I haven't had a date night in like a year and a half. We get creative with it. We go out and do our things. My son, he went through an injury and then new teams, new friends. He tried out for some things. The kid ended up being the rookie of the year at the catcher position for his baseball team in middle school. My daughter, she had to overcome making new friends, getting into a new routine, trying a new sport. She left cheerleading. She was in competitive cheer in Rhode Island. We came here. We found one about half an hour away, and she had to try out for that. And she was nervous, man. We had to go in. We all had to like restart our lives and re-engage with the world itself. And even Jackie, she was a real estate agent, came home, and now she's in school for cosmetology, her dream job, doing hair and makeup. Like she loves it. And she's out there and she's doing it. I'm so impressed with each of them. But we were all presented with ample opportunities to fail. We were all presented at any point we could have quit and said, this is too hard. I don't want to do it. Dude, I've had the late conversations with my wife. I've had the late tough conversations with my son and my daughter. I've had those talks. But when you have them and you connect and you're real and you set the example, I showed them like, I didn't have anybody here. Like I have me, you're 6 hours away. So I've got you, but like, that's a little bit of a trip, so I had to figure myself out too. And in this, I found this is my focus, focusing on the family, focusing on the business, focusing on connecting with my community and creating some relationships there. I went and I built it. And so we made our destiny. We created our fate, the master of your fate. Like we were the masters of this. And so instead of letting all that pressure break us, it made us shine brighter. And that's my biggest takeaway of this year is that no matter what the world throws, as long as this family leans into each other and we're open and honest, we're peaceful and connected. If you want to bring this to Oak and Rock, nothing can stop us. And my kids are seeing that. And it's really impressive for a 13 and 10-year-old to show those qualities and those understandings, because as parents, that's what you want for them. I want them to see, why am I who I am? How are my wife and I navigating these difficult waters? They see that and then they replicate it. And I'm looking at them and I'm as impressed with them as I'd assume they are with us, that we all do this. And honestly, they're not even impressed. It's normal for them. Like we just do things and we dominate wherever we go. But it's been really cool this year, man. I would say that the biggest takeaway is being able to see that no matter what's thrown my way or my family's way, I mean, even us, business, we've had a lot of internal developments, men who have lost their jobs, men who've lost family members, men who've lost loved ones. We've had to navigate some rough waters within our community. And each of those men have handled it with grace and professionalism and just a very masculine, calming, anchoring presence themselves. And so when you see that replicated over and over and over, it really does stand out that this is the way. We are on the right path to leading our own families and leading ourselves.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's well said, Zach. And the one thing that stands out, you know, going into the new year, and we're gonna be setting goals. There's things that we're gonna work on. We're gonna try to achieve and succeed, obviously. And the same thing with you. Within my family, there are, there's a mindset that we develop, and we understand that things will be tough. There's going to be difficulties, but we're gonna get past them. Right? They're temporary. They're not going to hold us down. They're not going to define who we are. And that's something I wish we could break a lot of men free from. Right? This almost like this resorting back to childhood, that you're not good enough. Dad doesn't think I'm good enough. Mom doesn't love me enough. Whatever the issue may be, and having people realize that this process is life, right? There's ups and downs, there's peaks and valleys. And one thing I'm taking forward that I've learned in 2022 is to set goals, have dreams, but also things don't happen if I stay still, right? If I'm afraid or if I'm scared to do something that I'm uncomfortable doing, I'm not going to grow. You're talking about doing podcasts and making live videos, doing this now, jumping on stage in Las Vegas and speaking about peaceful parenting. If I don't do that, I'm not growing. I'm not getting better. And you know what? It might not have been my best performance, but I sure as hell know next time it's going to be even better. And that is always the mindset I want to replicate. I have to have it within myself so I can show my kids. And they're going to go through challenges in life. Both of my daughters were just in Italy, learning yoga, going to school and teaching. And they had to go through some hard things and they had to face some challenges they would never face before. And they break down. But you know what? After the breakdown, they're that much more confident. Same thing with my son. He moved. And he literally went from a skinny teen to now a jacked 17-year-old because he started to invest in himself instead of being in a bad position that he had to move away from his friends. And I understand it; it's tough. I did it in ninth grade as well, but he was able to adapt and see it as an opportunity to grow even stronger. Those are the lessons, right? Those that is to me, that is living. It's facing hardship, overcoming, creating better habits, and then having great behaviors, right? Having these examples of what it truly means to pursue excellence. And you see the results. And it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. You don't, my son doesn't have to become an astronaut. I mean, he can if he wants, but it's the little things in life, man. It's taking note of what you're doing. So just to bring it full circle to a lot of what we talk about in parenting, there's things we've done or we still do that are unfavorable to our kids, whether it's screaming, yelling, and hitting them. We just start making small changes and everything changes. The universe changes. You take control of your life, right? The universe bends to your will because you're saying, I'm going to improve. I'm not going to intimidate my son with the dad voice. I'm going to get down to his level, look him in the eyes and say, hey, man, I'm here to help you. I'm listening. I love you. What do you need from me? That is a strong man. That's the message I want to bring in 23. Peaceful parenting, peaceful fathers. What does it mean to be a strong man? What does it mean to be a father? And how do we go about the path, the best way to get that done?
No, absolutely, man. You're starting to get me fucking pumped up here. Like,
Let's
I'm ready
go.
to go. Like, let's take it on. Next year, we're getting it. We got to wrap this one up first, but hell yeah. I'm looking at it. One of the things that stands out is people talk a lot of shit. They talk about if our families were good enough for us, then we wouldn't be online talking about them. We'd be with them. Nobody cares about fatherhood. So why are we talking about it at all? Peaceful parenting will make your child weak. We catch a lot of pushback, and our response has been to create a YouTube channel, then to create a Twitter space, then to create TikTok channels, then to push content on YouTube, then to go forward and start driving things on Gumroad, as well as within our Fraternity of Excellence. You've got Peaceful Fathers. I've got the Family Alpha blog. We've got Substacks we've created. Our response to people telling us nobody cares about fatherhood was to make sure the fatherhood message went as far as fucking possible. And there are many more men out there who think that, well, nobody cares. I'm just a dad. Man, just a dad. How did we hit the point where we think it's just a dad? So you're like, oh, that's a great celebrity, but I'm just a dad. Why aren't we like, I'm a fucking dad? That's just some fucking dude who's famous. Like, why aren't we flipping, the emphasis here? That's what I want to see. So as we go forward, I don't want to make fatherhood cool again. I'm not going to jump on some fucking Trump campaign because fuck that guy too. It's not about any politician. It's about the family man. It's about the father. It's about being dedicated to what you want. So finding your voice and starting to let, I was going to say something, but I'm going to let that slide. Allowing yourself
Take it
to just
easy.
man up and become your best self. I've already said fuck, 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. But you look at this, man, as dads, when we start to have this conversation and we start to view our position in the family as something of value and we start to put weight back on it like there used to be, we're like, hey, family men, it's on you to protect your family and provide for your family. You matter. We want to help support that. That's what we're growing now. In 2022 and 2023, modern family men are going to reach new heights if they're on board the train that we're driving. This thing is not slowing down. It's increasing. But what we would love to see is more drivers. I'd love to see more dads talking about what they're doing to connect with their kids, how they're going about dealing with teenagers, dealing with toddlers that are going through their phases, working to balance business with family, how they're keeping, attraction alive with their marriage, but at the same time, they're involved in all of their kids' activities, but at the same time, they make time for themselves. That sounds crazy, but it's possible. You can do it. You just have to be intentional about it. And when you're doing it, you should share that with the rest of us because we're sharing it with you to help you get to that point. But think about this. How are we ever going to drown out the anti-family, kids don't matter, they're second-class citizens, the kids these days? How are we going to drown out that noise if nobody else is speaking up and not in a reaction to it, but just an original creation? I don't speak about masculinity or family in reaction to feminism or to people that are bashing families, but they're so loud because they're just creating content. I'm not reacting to them. I'm just creating my own content for what I believe in. If we had more family men speaking their truths and defending their values, we would see a greater influence on the permission given to others to do the same. Dads right now don't think they have a place online. Most dads are like, I'm just a dad. I'm a walking paycheck. Those days are over, man. We have technology. There's too much to help support the notion that men are meant to be more. than just, put your head down, walk through the field and get your birthday blowjob and that's it. Be happy with that. It's about more than that. You should have a thriving relationship with your wife, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You should have a thriving relationship with your children, your sons and your daughters, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You should have a thriving relationship with your fellow men where you talk about everything and you get that shit off your chest to be your best man. When I go to talk to Jackie about business moves, about anything we're doing, I don't go to her and say, Anthony told me that I'm supposed to. I go to her and say, hey, here's what I'm doing. I've got all the men behind me, but I don't give you guys any credit. I take all that. And she's like, Zach's the man. He knows so many things. Man, what I'm actually doing is I'm tapped into a very strong network of educated men. The Fraternity of Excellence, all those guys are inside of my head. And it helps me be the best, well-rounded man for my family, my wife, myself, my business, everything. And so as we head into the new year, I want more men to have that. Don't go to your wife and be like, Zach said we should have a thriving relationship. Instead, learn about how to maintain attraction, be an attractive man, keep that that lust going with your long-term relationship, your wife of decades even, and carry that into your relationship. And all of a sudden she's like, yo, where is this new energy coming from? You're like, baby, it's always been here. I'm just letting it out. You can foster a relationship that's great and it gives you everything you want. Because when we're kids, man, I guarantee you never thought, I can't wait to grow up, get married, have kids, and then just go to a job I hate and put my head in the ground and then stare at Netflix for hours. Like that. I mean, maybe that was your fucking goal. It wasn't mine. And so when I went into this, I'm like, dude, I'm going to have an awesome family, kick-ass kids. I'm going to be the fucking man. Rah. And guess what? I made that happen and continue to make that happen. And it's possible for anyone to do if you start acting accordingly. And that's what Anthony and I are working together to bring to the table. Like I said, TikTok, YouTube, blogs, Substack, Gumroad courses, a private men's community, Twitter, Instagram. We're doing all the damn things because each platform is an opportunity to connect with other family men. Now, the family men, it's on you. If you're coming across this video, lean in. It's your turn to also share your story. Your voice matters. Your support matters. Our connection, that's just going to get you to where you want to go. You can't just hope things get better. You have to make them better.
Yeah, no, think about the fraternity, right? And everything that we do. We have 160 plus men in that group. And every day we're talking about how to improve our lives, how to get better. Um, that's the focus in 23, right? It's not a highlight reel. It's about just being genuine, being authentic, and facing any challenges, dealing with any weakness, any area in your life where you're not satisfied or you think you could be better. You lean in. You talk to other men, and this is how men become stronger. But this is how we have stronger husbands, stronger fathers, and we build better friendships. It's when we're honest, when we're able to say, "Hey, there's something I'm dealing with, and I'm not sure." So in 23, everything we have going with the fraternity, it is an online men's group, but we have meetups in person. Guys get together locally. We had a main event last year that I was talking about earlier, and it was phenomenal. Man, we did some crazy things. We had guys testing their limits, right? We did a high ropes course. We did a cave crawl. We were at the gun range shooting clays and shooting targets. But there were all these areas that men came together to do. But the best part about it was the conversations, sitting at the campfire, talking, listening to other men share their lives, share their experiences, and being a part of that. That there's no doubt in my mind that the way forward is exactly what we're doing, and just keep building upon that. And like you were saying, Zach, I think men need to hear it more, right? We don't need the fluff. We don't need all the distraction, all the glitz and glamour. We need to get back to the basics. How do you create a strong mind, a powerful body, and an intense spirit, right? How do you tap into those energies? What does that look like? And it's different for each man, but we're never going to know if we don't have the conversation. We're never going to know if we don't hold men accountable to a higher standard. If we accept the dad bod as the norm, and then we wonder why our wives are not attracted to us. If we accept the dad voice as the norm in our home, and we wonder why our kids don't listen, without trying to connect the dots and saying, well, obviously they're afraid. Obviously, it's a small child being intimidated by a grown man. Let's backtrack a little bit. Let's find ways to connect. Let's find other men who are shredded, who have a six pack, and say, hey, bro, what do you do? Can you help me? That's the network. That's what we have inside the fraternity. And we have, the running joke is we have a man for that, but we really do. It seems like,
It's a thing. Like that's a real thing.
yeah, man. And it seems like every time a question pops up or something else that's brought to us that's new, we're like, who knows how to do this? So, and again, we have men from all over the country, all over the world. We got guys in Australia, New Zealand, the UK, um, Mexico, everywhere. And we tap into that. We use that resource because it's what we've built, and it's honestly probably one of the best things that's going to carry me into the coming year is knowing that I have that network, knowing that I have that support. And when you have that connection, because that's really what it is, right? It's being connected to other individuals who they might, we don't we don't agree on everything, but we have the same mindset to win, to grow, and to get stronger. And that bleeds into your family, man. And it bleeds into them where they're able to see the examples that you're leading by. They're able to see, hey, you know what? My dad's not perfect. I see him make mistakes, but I never see him give up, and he's always going forward. That again, that's the mindset.
Dude, it's a strong message. And you look at it, there have been examples where trying to appear this way is not the same thing as being this way. Recently, we've got the Liver King. Oh my God. Do you know how many people have been triggered by this dude? And I'm looking around like I'm looking at you, I'm looking at Phil Foster, a bunch of our fit guys, in FOE, the trainers especially. They're like, yeah, like, how did you not know this? And men are devastated, man. They're like, he lied to me. I was eating bull testicles and he how did this happen? Listen, man, you need to look at not trying to just look at the part. I was like, all right, if I eat bull testicles, I'm going to be locked in. Like, look at the person you're listening to and look at their receipts. And if you look at that dude and he's built like a fucking tank and you're like, oh yeah, he just eats liver and testicles. Like, don't you think for a second that there's something wrong with the assumption that you're making there? Like, you're just like blindly, yeah, of course. Why don't you look at longevity and the behind the scenes shit? One of the things that I pride myself on is I share where I'm at, where I'm going, and just from A to B, the highs and lows between those things. Connect with individuals who have flaws and then talk about how they overcame them. Connect with individuals who are doing the real thing, that are saying, hey, I'm not here yet, but I'm working to get here. Those are people you can join on the journey. Whether you're looking to get jacked with them, get wealthy with them, get reconnected to your spouse with them, the people that are working to grow in these areas are the ones you want to get on. The people who are sitting at the top saying, I am the absolute best, do exactly what I'm doing, this is how you do it. You really need to be careful with that. You need to make sure that you're not just doing a thing so you fit in with Liver King, and you're actually doing something that's getting you results. I would love to see the dudes who lived off the fucking liver and bull testicles and see, do you look like Liver King? No. Why do you keep doing this then? You're not getting the results. If you go on to what Anthony and I are doing and you say, yo, guys, I went through A to Z parenting, your course together, and my relationship's worse with my kids. What the fuck is up? You would not see us say, you are fucked up, you did everything wrong. You would see us say, talk to us about what happened. How did you apply this? Where did you go? Like, what are the issues that you're having here? Anybody that would not sit down and break it down to your level doesn't want what's best for you. You have to be the one who wants what's best for you. You have to work with individuals that will help you get where you want to go. But it's not about being online and looking the part. It's about being that part. It's not about the appearance of success. It's about success. You have to do the work to get yourself where you want to go. And dude, I can't stress enough how many guys cross that line. I want to look like a good dad. Dude, it doesn't matter if you're a good dad to your timeline if you aren't to your bloodline. It doesn't matter, man. It's all about those you're actually connected with, those that you're working with. You and I have had many discussions on just the insanity here. And you'll see people say it's all about equality and it's about freedom of speech. And you see these men tell their kids to basically shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear you or even see you. Stay out of my way. You're an inconvenience to my life. I only want you here when you're doing something I can take a photo of to put on my timeline. Outside of that, go away, kid. Where the fuck did that freedom of speech go? Why isn't your kid allowed to speak the way you want to speak? Why do you think you have privileges that they don't get to have? Why do you think you have rights they don't get to fucking have? Why do we see, again, to a point we had recently, why do we see professors get fired for not using pronouns, but Missouri legalizes the use of paddles on children? Adults can't have words said to them they don't like, but kids get to take a wooden fucking paddle to their ass? What world are we living in, man? What world is this? Because it's not one that makes sense. This is fucking clown world, but we're gonna fucking make it legit in 2022 and 22. We're gonna close out strong,
Yeah,
and
man.
we're gonna take that momentum into next year.
I don't think I could go after that.
It was a good fucking session. If you guys dig what it is we're doing, make sure you like, spread the good word. If you're seeing us on Facebook, if you're seeing us on Twitter, if you're seeing us on YouTube, you can find us through our blogs, and all of our content rolls through there. You know, if you dig the spaces, the conversations like this, one of the things we're looking to do, both Anthony and myself, individually as well as together through our the fuck is that called? Not partnership, but our fucking just collaboration. You know, we've got a lot of content coming out. Is that a jet in your end?
Yeah, they're
Damn,
watching.
Anthony, you got a fucking war going on over there. Anyways, when we're working together, you're going to find a lot of content, the Family Alpha. You're going to find a lot of content, Oak and Rock, as well as Peaceful Fathers. Make sure you're checking those out and subscribed. We look forward to hearing what it is that you've got going on. And again, if you want to work with us, the Fraternity of Excellence, the code FOE25 is still active. It is still live. That'll take 25% off all membership levels. We've decided to extend that beyond Christmas to January 1st. And so you can get from now until the new year 25% off your membership, and then you can invest for the year of all 2023, 1 month to test the waters. But it's on you to put yourself in a position to succeed. That's where we're working with men one-on-one. That's where we're working as a community at large. That's where the live events are. That's where a lot of future developments, which aren't going to be thrown out to the public, you know, FOE gets first dibs. That's where we drop that VIP content and connection. If you want to be a part of that and invest in your growth, then let's fucking make it happen. Get inside the walls. I look forward to working with you. Anthony, myself, all of our links to all of our socials are below. Another solid session, man. I look forward to creating something new. I don't know, probably 10 minutes from now. You guys stay well.